Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming to see me on Saturday, right? All right, check this out. Tonight, I want to offer you a different perspective, right? What if I was to tell you that if you showed up for yourself for 20 minutes a day, you could change your entire life, right? Because think about it like this. If I were to ask you if you could show up for work for 20 minutes, your salary for the month would be, say, $1 million, right? Let's just say a million, let's throw it out there. But it could be anything, 20,000, 50,000, 10,000, 5,000. But 20 minutes worth of work, right? And what if the work for the job I'm hiring you for was just for you to, say, do cardio for 20 minutes a day, right? Everyone's gonna be like, oh no, that can't happen, so on and so forth. Like that's impossible. It's a scam. Da 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 da. But that's really how life works, if that makes sense. Because 20 minutes of cardio is not a lot of cardio. Really, like think about it. Before cars and horses, people used to walk on this earth. The caveman used to walk around this earth all day, every day, right? They had no other means of transportation. They had to go or they were going to die where they were. God forbid natural disasters. I wasn't there back then. I do not know. But I do know that you can't stay in the same place in life forever, if that makes sense. So, long story short, if I were to give you $1 million a month or $1 million at the end of the year, and the only requirement was for you to do 20 minutes worth of cardio every single day, everyone would be like, okay, that's easy. I'll go ahead and do it, right? But the thing stopping everyone from that would be the consistency aspect. Because thinking about it is easy, right? If I were to think about it, that's nothing. 20 minutes a day, there's 24 hours in every single day, and every single hour has 60 minutes. You just want 20 minutes of that from me. So there's people that's gonna go ahead and do it, right? There's gonna be some people that's gonna be like, okay, well, how would I walk? And the how would you walk doesn't matter because, say me, I do 20 minutes of cardio a day in addition to weightlifting whenever I'm working out. Gotta move the body, gotta feel good, want to live a long time while you're making money, right? It's no other way around it. So if I do 20 minutes of cardio and I am an expert in the gym, then my cardio is going to be a little bit more difficult than the cardio of somebody that doesn't like the journey, that doesn't want to walk, if that makes sense. So, in that aspect of things, say I give you three different types. There's cardio, just walking flat footed. You don't have to do incline and you don't have to have a weighted vest on. But that's going to be the beginner. That intermediate is going to be someone that's going to walk 20 minutes. Notice I never said a speed or anything. Everyone just has a different option for the 20 minutes. The intermediate is going to be 20 minutes. They might do an incline. The advanced is going to be the masters. They might do 20 minutes on an incline and they're going to wear a weighted vest, right? It's still three options, but every single time it's 20 minutes, if that makes sense. So then let's think about it like this. We didn't even talk about speed. Only requirement was for you to show up every day for 20 minutes every single day in order to get your $1 million at the end of the month, every 30 days, at the end of the year. Either way, you get $1 million, but you got to show for yourself 20 minutes every single day. But like I said, the consistency aspect is what's going to stop people. When you think about consistency, consistency is deeper than what people really believe because it requires you to do the same thing over and over again, no matter how you feel. And when it comes to the gym specifically, like I'm a person that day trades, but I can say that my health wasn't the best while I was learning how to trade, if that makes sense, because at the same time of learning how to trade, I still had to bring in the income. So I was working. So all the extra free time that I had, it went towards trading. It wasn't necessarily towards training in the gym because to me, the gym is important, but being financially stable was more important to me at that moment in time. But over the years, as I've gotten more free time, I've been free since I was 24. Over the years, as I've gotten more free time, it's been a lot easier to get into the gym because I have all day, every day to get there. But at the same time, if I spend an hour a day at the gym, I still have to go for an hour a day, or I still have to work out for an hour a day. It doesn't even have to be in the gym, but I still have to show up for myself every day in that aspect. So when you talk about speed at the minimum, I say a 2.0 speed. Or if you're not doing, well, it doesn't even matter the speed. That's the craziest part because you still have to get to the point of showing up every single day. If you do not show up, you're not going to be able to do anything. It's kind of like in the market people want to be in the big moves, but they kind of want to sit on the outside of the market safely in cash, if that makes sense, so that they don't have to risk any drawdown. But when it comes to, say, the consistency of 20 minutes every day on cardio, like with working out, you cannot, there's no way to there's no way to pre-workout. There's no way to pre-workout, if that makes sense, because I can prep and meal prep ahead of time. So if I am person, like my schedule is I meal prep on Sundays and Wednesdays because I want food for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But I don't like washing dishes. I'm tired of fucking washing dishes. I feel like I've been washing dishes all week. It takes me a really long time 'cause I'm very thorough with it. I can't stand doing it. So if I meal prep this day and this day, then the bulk of my dishwashing would be on those 2 days. Throughout the week, it's just small little plates here and there. It takes less than 5 minutes to wash, if that makes sense. In addition to that, as someone that has an 8-year-old, it's like kids don't necessarily like to eat the same thing adults eat. So then it's like if I already got my meals figured out for the week, and I know, like my kid's allergic to peanut butter and seafood. She can't have any of that. And I know that I like peanut butter and seafood. So it's just like meal prepping for me is one thing because there's going to be some time to where I want seafood and she's not going to be able. But if I'm consistently knowing that my goal is to lose weight and I'm in a consistent calorie deficit because I'm always eating at a deficit consistently, then it's like I don't have to wonder if I'm losing weight when I already know what the calories are. I don't have to wonder if I'm losing weight if I know that I get my movement in every single day. If that makes sense. So it's just like consistency is what makes a person, but people believe that they're going to get that consistency in day trading just because they're learning how to trade. In meantime, people consider themselves traders just because they're learning how to trade, and that's not the aspect of it because I don't consider someone a trader unless they're bringing in six figures. I'm not gonna hold you. Like you gotta be at least making six figures pretty consistently for me to consider you a trader, if that makes sense. So it's just like a lot of people don't get to this level because in order for me to find out the secrets of this market, I had to consistently do the same thing over and over again. And although I was trading in 2017, I personally don't count 2017 and 2018 as a part of my journey because they were just the beginning of the journey. They were like the fellowship. I was still realizing what consistency was. I didn't have any discipline in the market. And discipline and consistency go hand in hand because you got to be disciplined to even have that consistency. You got to want, well, not even want to do better, but you got to know what your goal is for yourself and consistently work towards that goal every day, no matter what. So when it comes to working out, you can't pre-work out, but it's like it's easier. It's easier to show up every day when the other stuff is already solved. Like, say if I make content and I know that I want content to come out every single day, I'm just gonna schedule the content, but I'm not necessarily making content every single day. Sometimes I am, but most of the time I'm not necessarily making content every day. Um, if that makes sense. So if I schedule the content to come out, it's gonna post every day, but then the content maybe was made say 45 hours on one of the days out of the 7 days of the week. Because keep in mind, we still got to have a life, got a boyfriend, got a child. I got six motherfucking dogs. I can't sit here and make content all day. But at the same time, I do trade every day. Whether I'm in a good mood or not a good mood, whether life is stressful, whether life is not stressful, because I already have that consistency in the market. Like, I always tell people if I was to lose everything, I would go to work and make $500. And then as long as it take to flip that 500 into what I need it to be, 100 into what I need it to be, that's how long it's gonna take me to get from rock bottom, if that makes sense. But but at the same time, I can't tell people that when they're already at rock bottom because that being my plan. If I was to lose everything, it's because I already had the skill set of trading, if that makes sense. And even looking back on it, when I was working 2017, 2018, and part of 2019, it's like it was difficult to trade. Like I remember I started learning how to trade like right after Aubrey was born. So she was born in 2017 that November. I'm sorry, that September. I started trading that November. I got fired from Brio Tuscan Grill in July of 2018, if that makes sense. But I had already built the arc before the flood. I wasn't like a profitable trader, but I had already learned the rules of trading, you if that makes sense. So by the time they tired of my black ass, I'm like, all right, fuck you. I don't need you. And then that unemployment came in. I really was getting good at trading with unemployment money because they fired me for no reason. But whatever, I won. And so I had got another job at Mi Casina. But in the meantime, I'm getting paid at this job. I'm in trading. I win an unemployment case. I get unemployment. And unemployment was a win for me because I had already been consistently showing up for myself, educating myself. So by the time I got fired, I have the skill set in the back of my mind. And my first trade after getting fired from that job was USD MXN for the US dollar versus the Mexican peso. And I got fired on July 3rd. And I remember that so well because July 3rd was a big day. I mean, it's 4th of July, but I was like a big server there, main server, top server. So it's just like if I know July 3rd and they doing the fireworks in the town square, then I'm gonna make a lot of money because I'm on the patio and the fireworks is going. And it was like it's South Lake. It's a rich neighborhood. It's crazy. I don't know if y'all know Texas, but it's crazy out there. So it's like I already knew I was gonna have a big day because I'm a great server. So I'm expecting to at least make $300-400. It's rent time. My rent already late. It's the third. I get suspended on the fucking third, and then that night I'm like, man, fuck it. I gotta make some shake, and I get in USD MXN overnight. I make $1,000. But that's not the first time I made money trading. The very first time I made money trading, I was trading USD JPY for the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. And I had put $800 in that account, which was my half of the rent money at that time with, roommates and shit like that. But I made $1,200 in a matter of 5 minutes. But in that case, I didn't have the skill set to keep that money. So I lost the 800 I put in 2017. And then I lost that 1,200 fucking 5 minutes later. But that was all it took to convince me that this shit would work out. So even looking back on it, I never thought that I would like become a millionaire or anything like that. I never thought about that. I just knew that honestly I need to make some shit shake. I got fired from my job for no fucking reason. And I knew that, hey, I've been making money day trading. It wasn't consistent money, but if I could look at patterns and do this, then let me try to do it when I need it. Now that in that occasion, it worked out. I was able to make $1,000 and I was able to pay rent that month. But then there was other times to where this shit didn't work out and I risked my fucking rent money and I lost that fucking rent money and then I end up evicted or I end up with a car repossession. And there was one time I had to go live with this old ass lady in Flower Mound. Her ass was crazy. She would take my money. I was renting a room because I got evicted because I was fucking trading my shit. I was trading it. And I didn't have the skill set to understand how the market was moving. And it's crazy looking back on it because it's just like, excuse me, it's just like a completely different set of eyes looking back on it. Like, even the way I'm running businesses now, I've had a way that I wanted to run my mentorships and that I have been running the mentorships for the past couple years. But it's like when I put into perspective all the growth that I've obtained over the last few years, the last few months of me walking away from everything and shit. I used to serve tables and then I walked away from 1 million a year fuck teaching because it's just like it's a different level, if that makes sense. Like, there's only so much time in this world, and I think I could do more good into it if, say, for the mentorships, like, people naturally like to have Zoom meetings. I get it. But it's like, people also don't have the kind of bots that attach to, like, their trading accounts to be able to trade with the world either. If that makes sense. Like, most of the time, people are just typing in signals and they're like, well, shit, just I mean, and then they hope you get in at that point in time, but you don't necessarily know what kind of price price they get in. But for me, I call it serendipity. It's always right place, right time for me, right season. I wasn't in the right season last year because I had some growth that I had to go through. But I'm in the right season this year because it's just like I feel like I'm untouchable. What the fuck? We in a couple trades right now on the crypto future side. They look really good. I think they're going to hold because honestly, crypto has been ready to go up since like the 19th. So, and that's what I'm saying. I've been monitoring these trades for days, weeks, if that makes sense. So it's just like to me, when magical shit happen in the market and we start banging out these profits, it's almost like I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised at how volatile the profits were, if that makes sense. But that's me on the consistent factor of I approach the market the same way every day, no matter what. I'm gonna meal prep every single week, no matter what. And typically, you just need a protein, some veggies. I do protein and veggies and rice because I'm trying to lose weight. But sometimes I don't even do the rice because feel like my body like to hold on to that rice. I'm lazy too, so if I'm being fancy, I'll lose some asparagus. If I'm being lazy, I get a can of green beans, I burn them bitches down, put a little salt, pepper on them, and then put them in the fucking box. Protein, I stick with shrimp, salmon for sure. I love salmon. Beef. I like ground beef and steak. My daughter, she likes steak only. I don't know. She kind of bougie. I don't know why she don't like ground beef. I've been eating hamburger helper since I was a kid. It's almost hard to trick her now. I can't even call it steak because she's not going for it. So I like ground beef, but usually I'll just do some steak because she likes steak and she likes chicken. So that's four proteins to pick from. And then throughout the week, if I know if my boyfriend's coming over, I'll make some seafood because I can't eat all that seafood by myself. So I'll make seafood boxes and then, here and there. But it's just like as long as you have of appropriate base of 4 to 5 proteins each week consistently, and then maybe two veggie options. It's like I don't have any thought process on what my meals are going to look like throughout the week. And then it's a lot easier to feed my child also because kids might not want that kind of consistency. But honestly, because I homeschool, I honestly think kids do need that consistency, if that makes sense, because it's like homeschooling to me is nothing more than independent learning versus group learning. And that's what I tell my child because I don't want her to think that school's not cool. School is cool. You might not like the type of school that is group learning school. And that's what it is about. Oh yeah, the mentorship. A lot of people are just used because of the culture of trading to doing the Zooms, but it's like they have to be able to show up to that Zoom and they can't even show up for themselves for 20 minutes a day. So it's almost like to where I'm taking a different approach because my eyes are different now to where it's like the way that I've been running with my mentorships is I don't even do Zooms like that no more. I've been teaching actively in the group every time I take a trade because the bots are hooked up to my trading account. So it's like if you're real time actually entering these trades, then you real time need to be learning from me also. So I've honestly cut Zooms from my group because I think it works a lot better, and I'm getting better results from people because it forces them to actively look at this market every single day. People will lose accounts and they get all discouraged, like woo hoo woo 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 woo, I lost it, da 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 da. But it don't matter because what you finna go do, die? You finna go wither away? You finna go wither up like a fucking sunflower seed because you lost something? Like everything that I've lost, I'm talking about outside of this market, like anything, jobs, people, opportunities, it all worked out for the best, if that makes sense. And that's kind of the approach that you guys kind of gotta take to, bro. Fucking 2 weeks ago, my car get towed. It was my fault. I did some dumb ass shit. I be parking in handicap, and let's just say I've learned my lesson because I've been told twice this year. I'm done with that shit. I'm tired of my car not fucking being there. So car get towed. I walk outside. Where my shit at? Like where my shit at? I don't know where it's at. I walk inside. Walk outside again, and then I'm just like, okay, it's really not here. And I'm trying to figure out what the fuck going on. But I know what I did. I only parked there because I was moving some shit and it was fucking raining and stuff. So it's like if I'm at this person's house and it's raining, I'm like, oh, it's cool because I didn't park there consistently many fucking times, unfortunately. But this time it just didn't fucking work out. Anyway, long story short, next day I get to the tow yard. Dude, he cool, but I wasn't in the mood. But he was joking, but I took him as serious because I'm just like, why y'all got my shit? Like, just just stop taking it. And so he was joking. He was like, "Oh, we sold your car, da 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 da." Da." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, ha ha ha, whatever. I don't care." Because in my head on the highway, I had saw this green Audi that I wanted, and I was like, "I get that fucking car." So when he was playing, talking about, we sold it. I'm like, oh, "Okay." I was finna call my sister back, like, "Hey, well, I ain't got it, I guess." And he was like, "Wait, you don't want your car?" And I was just like, I mean, if you got it, I'll take it. He was like, why was you so cool? Because he used to people getting crunk with him because to me, everything happened for a reason. Like, I would say I've had good shit and bad shit happen to me. I've had terrible shit happen to me, but sitting here, right now, today, everything happened for a reason. But it's like the consistency that I've had in my life, I've always had because even when I was in high school working two fucking jobs, I was consistently going to the gym. So it's like if I know consistently that I'm focused on I'm gonna have a good mood, there ain't shit that can happen to me in this world that's gonna make the mood terrible. So he talking about he sold the car and I'm all for it. Well, whatever. I tried because at least I got money to go get another fucking car. And he's just like, wow, I wish more people had your approach. But honestly, a lot of people don't have that approach because they don't have the luxury to because they're so busy. And especially when you're busy, you're gonna need that consistency to be able to show up for yourself because you gotta be able to create that time and space for yourself, if that makes sense. Because it's like, say my work schedule back when I was working at that job that fired me, Brio Tuscan Grill. But every job, I always create space for myself. I wasn't fucking around. I'm very strategic. I was just telling my friend too how when Aubrey was born, her daddy wanted to name her. I knew this nigga was gonna name her something stupid, so I didn't let that happen. And I had made a deal with him. I said, you can give her the last name and I'll name her first name. And then he was like, he thinking he winning in life. I'm terrible. I was so strategic, but whatever. So he thinking he winning this shit in life, but he don't even know in 2017. I wasn't even trading or thinking about business or nothing yet. I just knew that, oh, I ain't going for that. So let's give you something. I gotta give people something. You gonna have to give the world something. So my something is, okay, you can have the last name, I'll name it the first name. But in my head is I'm gonna let you name the last name because she a girl, because we had a boy, I was never gonna give him the last name. That's forever. So I was like, my daughter's a girl. We had a daughter, 2017. So she gonna eventually get married and that last name will change. Because my family crazy. It's not like I was fighting for my last name. No, he got it. But the first name is forever, so it's just like the kind of what is it? Strategist I am. I've been this my whole life. And the way that like I worked with the jobs is I was always able to create space for myself even when I had a full-time job. Even when I had two full-time jobs, and that's gonna be the difference. Like trading and showing up for self, I can say it, but you can't do it because you busy as shit. Like the guy I'm seeing, he's really busy too, and that's where it put into perspective. Sometimes I would get mad because he's not texting me back, but then I had to look at it in his perspective of he cannot text me back because he's actually that busy. So even with him, I'm working on showing him to create space for himself because it's needed in order to get out of the rat race, if that makes sense. So it's like the way that I would do my scheduling back then, I think I've talked to y'all about it before, is they would want us to work at least one weekend shift, if I remember right. At least a few morning shifts and then a couple night shifts. And the weekend shift that I chose was like a Sunday. Well, yeah, Sunday morning because market open, was on Sunday afternoon at like 5 o'clock. That's when Mondays start. And then because I wanted to watch the US session, at first I was on like a lot of morning shifts, but then I got rid of that. And then I kind of blocked my schedule off to where I would do like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays and Sundays. But sometimes I don't even think I had one day. So I think I was strictly like some Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but then eventually I will block it and then do a full Tuesday, a full Monday, and then a Sunday morning. So it's like I got 5 shifts like they wanted. I got a weekend shift like they wanted. I'm good at following the rules, just like I break the fucking rules. And by the time they realize I'm already putting the last piece of the puzzle together, which is Tuesday night. So then it's still, I got Wednesday off, Thursday off, Friday off, Saturday off. I got 4 fucking days off and I hit them with three. But the three follow their rules: a weekend, a morning, a night, and 5 shifts. That's what the fuck they wanted. And they mad because I followed what they wanted because they wanted it their way. And that's just how the world is. You kind of got to outsmart the world and shit. I promise you, you do. I don't know why I'm like this, but I mean, I grew up in a terrible household. Like, I could tell you stories all day about that shit, but that's kind of why I was working hard when I was younger because in high school I graduated early with honors, A student, entire fucking way. The only class that I ever failed was English. I don't know why English is my goddamn weakest subject because I was science and that. You know what I wanted to be when I grew up? I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, my nigga. I was not no underachiever. But I would have never thought I would have become a trader. I never thought about millions. That wasn't on my mind. Survival was on my mind. That's what's on a lot of people's minds. So it's just like when you think about it in the aspect of survival, it's just like the only thing stopping you from being me is your consistency because you have to show up every single day. And that brings me back to the topic of if I was to give you $1 million for showing up 20 minutes every day, people will still have a hard time doing it because they can't wrap their mind around 20 minutes, $1 million. And so not only won't they get started, but they gotta, I mean, they're gonna be tired some days. So it's just like I could pre make food in advance for the week. And that takes the ease off. And then I could pre do work for the week and that takes the ease off. But you cannot pre-work out. That is the part you will absolutely have to show up every day. And people they don't have the body they want because they can't do that part. And they're not gonna make the money they want because they can't do that part. But it's just like the part they can do is show up for someone else every day and make so since they got your 20 minutes plus every day of you showing up every single day, they get your $1 million that you deserve because you showing up for them and not yourself. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So it's just like if I could change the way that you think, then I could change your entire life because changing the way that I think changed my life. And because, I mean, shit, it only takes one disciplined woman to change an entire generation, right? And then you run into a disciplined man, and it's just like from there, your family don't have no choice. So people say the words, what is it? It's if you didn't come from a wealthy family must come from you. But really they need to change it to if you didn't come from a healthy family, a healthy one needs to come from you because the health is mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. That's the health. The wealth goes into it. And then it's just like the mindset that I have, I'll adopt. I mean, my kids will adopt a similar mindset when I marry, right? If I have more kids, I'm still open to it, whatever. So it's just like with two disciplined parents, it changes the entire generation because I know that my family was undisciplined. Who knows what his family would be? The guy I'm seeing now, his family, I mean, seem pretty disciplined. He's an athlete, so I mean, he's disciplined. He shows for himself every day, but it's a matter of can he show up for someone outside of himself too every day? But that's same for me. Can I show up for someone else outside of myself too every day? But I mean, I can because I do. It's for you guys. And I've shown up every day since 2019. But I wasn't as disciplined in showing up for you guys in 2017 when I was in the struggle as well because I didn't have the perspective that I had on you kind of gotta get above the storm in order to see the results. So it's just like it's not a matter of the 20 minutes, it's the perspective of because you cannot show up for minimal time, it's not gonna work. That's what I'm trying to explain, if that makes sense. Um, Let me see. But yeah, I mean, how does that compare to trading? I mean, you got three different types of traders. You got your scalpers, which is scalpers. I consider the scalpers the traders that don't know the rules the best. And then I consider the intraday traders as traders that that know the rules pretty well, but your swing traders, your position traders are gonna know the rules the best. Absolutely. Because we need to be right for a longer period of time, and we are more consistent because we need to be right for a longer period of time, if that makes sense. So it's like just like you have three different ways to do cardio, flat-footed, on an incline, or with a weighted vest, and I never told you the speed. It's the same thing with trading. You could be a scalper and know some of the rules just enough to get profitable. You could be an intraday trader and know some of the rules just to get profitable, but not know them for a long time. And then you could be a swing trader, intraday trader, and I'm more I'm sorry, swing or position trader, and I'm more intraday with a swing outlook. But I can swing because I'll hold trades for weeks at a time. I don't have no issue doing it. But there's also been times where I done held a trade for weeks at a time and that shit blew my account and that shit's so fucking annoying. But that's part of the game. That's a part of the game, just like the game my employer played. And that's ultimately why they ended up firing me. I didn't fucking do anything. I just knew the rules that they put for people better than themselves. But at one point, they wanted me to be a manager and I declined because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what I was gonna do in life. I was like 20, 21 back then, you know? And it's just like looking back on everything. Shit, I'm 30 now. I just turned 30 this last October, 2025. And this is, I don't know, like I've been free since I was 24, but this is the first time in my life I'm in absolutely control of everything. Like you can't, there's just no getting past me. I'm not going for it. If that makes sense, because it's just like as you get right and get more consistent and do more discipline, and then it's all the time, it's just like, even if I'm coming into a scenario that is unfamiliar, I'm betting on I know the best way possible to get it done because I bring my consistent aspect of life into every scenario. So it's almost like day trading made me an even more consistent person, right? Because I don't know, I wasn't as consistent before trading, but it's just like with trading, maybe it's just the money aspect that made me more disciplined because trading itself, people, I don't know, I think it's hard for people to come in and be consistent because they're not consistent in a personal life. That's just me, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. But my most shit, my best students are my students that work out. Because if they can change their body, they can change their financial habits, they can change their mindset. Their mindset is already strong. They already have a disciplined approach of how they wake up, approach life, how they eat. So what's one more thing? If you can change your body, you can change your whole life. Your mind is already changed. And that's why they end up being some of the most profitable traders that I know because they're already used to that consistent aspect of approaching the day over and over again, no matter the result. No matter the result is win or lose, we still gonna use this way. And I could tell YouTube all of my secrets in life on trading, life, anything take over the world, why don't you? And most of y'all are still not going to be able to do it because I'm not sitting there breathing on your neck telling you to do it this way no matter what, if that makes sense. And because I'm not sitting there saying, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, and let you sit in there fester by yourself, because some people, my last millionaire I created, his name was Austin. And I remember there was like a period of time he was having a hard time, like in the beginning trading. But he made $1 million from, he started with me October of like 2021. And then by November, no, by July 2022, he made his first million, but he was a dude that was just driving trucks, right? And there was a period in the beginning between October and November when he became one of my students, my mentorship students, that, I mean, he would hit me up, he would text me, and then he would be like, hey, I'm having trouble with this, da da da. But I had already said what I said. So it's just like, When the student is ready to write, teacher gonna appear. I'm not finna sit here and hold your hand and it's okay, little Debbie. It's okay. It's okay, little Austin. It's okay. I'm not gonna say that. I'm finna sit there and let you fester because if I sit there and let you fester and don't involve myself in the festering, you have no choice but to follow the rules I gave you because the rules that I gave you are the rules that make me successful. If that makes sense towards the market. And granted, he had to have faith. He had to believe that I was right and that I'm telling him the right rules. But my results is what, shit, the results is what makes the belief right. Because say the dude that made 300 million in like 6, 7 months before he got to the 300 million, I didn't know him as $300 million dude. I knew him as a friend that took a $500 account and was on his way to a million, and he did that for 30 days. And then on his journey to get the account higher, he didn't even know he was going to make $300 million, right? But we was cool. We was always cool. But I started learning from him as I saw the results. And then here and there, he would tell me certain things. And I would have to take what he said for truth. I had to have faith in how he was trading and what he was saying is truth. Even though we traded the same way, because he was able to make 300 million from a $500 account, a $500 account to a million in 30 days, right? It sounds unrealistic, and people will come to me like, that's not true, that's not true. But it don't matter what you say because the result is we trade the same way. Iron sharpened iron. The iron that he sharpened was me, and then went and turned around and turned 200 into 100K in 3 days. I did 100 to 100K on the Forex side a few months before that already. So that's two different platforms, same result. So it's like I'm wielding an axe. I'm chopping down this fucking tree. And then the tree falling, how you gonna chop down a tree? Are you gonna spend all your time sharpening your axe? Or are you gonna spend all your time swinging the axe? And a lot of people, they don't go and get the what is it? They don't go get the conviction. They don't go get the faith. They don't go get the rules. They don't go study the rules till they got conviction and faith. They sit there and chop this fucking tree down. They sit there and trade every day and not know shit. And then be like, I blew my account. Yes, you blew your fucking account because you don't know what you're doing. And you don't want to learn from nobody because you too smart for that. I don't know what to tell you. But I've lately started leaving people talking in my inboxes to themselves because I don't give a fuck no more. You have to take what I say for truth if you want my results. And if you don't want my results, then you shouldn't be watching me because I'm going to show you my trades all day. So in the signals group, we're in a trade right now. Let's talk about it real quick. We're in two trades. Jasmine, we're in Jasmine, and we are in, what are we in? Oh, Pepe. What are we doing? Oh, here we go. Let's do this. This is my YouTube, and this is my trading account right now. All right, you see this? This is what we're in right now. Pepe, right here. We're in Pepe. And then Jasmine. We're in Jasmine. So hopefully we hold. But this account today, I think it was at like 106 when we started. It's at like $12 right now. Um, in profit. I think this setup is gonna hold. I'm not gonna hold you because I've been waiting for crypto for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And the setup looks solid. Now, exactly? Do we know exactly when it's gonna pop off? No. But that's the best part. We never know what we know. Like I said, I used to trade with this dude last summer, and he didn't know that I was gonna do that big ass trade in 3 days because if he knew, then he would have did it too. If I knew, I would have bet more. You gotta take that into account. If I knew, I would have bet more. I would have put more on the table. I would have put it all on black. But I didn't know, so I went to 100K. But if you could go from 100 to six figures, you could go from 100 to seven figures, and that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I want to do with the public. So it's almost like I've been in the middle of like rebranding because it's almost, I don't know. I want to help the past me, like me back in 2017, but I knew me in 2017 ain't got no sense. And I think that's where I am with the world right now. And I have to take y'all's mindset with a grain of salt sometime because it's not y'all's fault y'all is not understanding. but it's my fault for not explaining it better. And that's what my goal is every time I speak to you guys now on YouTube, is to get it to where you can understand my perspective better on. I've been approaching the market the same way over and over again since 2019. And since 2019, win or lose, the losses teach me more than my wins. But some people, but I guess I could say that. Okay, let me correct myself. I could say that, but it's like as a new trader, you might not necessarily know you right in order to execute the same way over and over again. I could say that. Cause you right there. See, that's me changing my perspective right now to understand your perspective. You don't know that you're right in order to trade the same way over and over again, right? In order to get the right result, to where it's just one big ass result or a couple big ass results, right? Because the market is choppy, and I trade a lot of USD pairs, and the USD pairs is one of the most manipulated currencies to trade for the US dollar. So it's just like us in America, we are a part of the one of the most manipulated countries, is all I heard, because the market is nothing more than people. So at the same time, if I know that I'm right and I've been trading the same way since 2019, it's because I became a millionaire in 2019. That was my first million. So it's like I can't not be right getting from that from where I grew up, because like I said, my mom was schizophrenic, grew up in a schizophrenic household. I don't know. It's a lot I could say. Honestly, I wasn't even really planning on talking about it in this video, but it's just like I changed my whole life, and I don't really have an answer for it besides I had faith in the knowledge that I was gaining throughout the years. And as the results were consistent, then my knowledge, I mean, my studying habits got consistent, my approach got consistent, my execution got consistent. So it's almost like I could get why you're not consistently trading the same way in this market, because you don't necessarily know that you're right. But if I am teaching you and you're learning from me and you don't want to know the rules, then you'll never know that you're right. So I'm trading with the world right now. We're in Jasmine, we're in Pepe, we're up $13 as we speak. Started the account with 106 today. I've been waiting for crypto to go up for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We've been holding, we've been holding the lows. I think it's time to get the fuck up out of there. And I wanna, and I'm willing to do it right now. I was talking to y'all about last April, and that's what really had me thinking about it. I banged out last April. This shit was crazy. I'm not finna miss this April. So if you want to lock in, let me know. And we can do it. But if you don't, it's okay, because you need to show up for yourself before you start trying to show up with me, because I be irritated when people don't show up for themselves. That's another reason I started kind of changing stuff around. It's like irritating to me when I say, hey, you got to trade on a laptop. You got to mark up on a laptop, and people will be like, oh, I don't want to use a laptop. I want to use my phone. And then they come to me like, oh, I'm not getting this. Da, 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 da. Well, it's because you're not fucking listening. You using your own brain instead of, you paid me to use my brain and you're not using it. You just want to do what you want to do. And because you're doing what you want to do, it's fine doing what you want. But if you don't know the rules, you have to do me. Even right now, we're up another $5, right? We're talking about it. I've been saying how I've been watching this trade for 2 weeks. I've been ready for it. I could have had us in this trade for 2 weeks, and I decided not to do that, because in order to make money, you have to hold this trade as long as it takes. But I felt like the market was a little bit early the last few weeks. So where we are positioned now is why I'm just like, you know what? Maybe this isn't so bad. Um, and here we are. We're trading Jasmine, and I can tell you now that Jasmine, one of them heavy hitters, to where I've turned $30 into 9,000 in one session on Jasmine. And I don't know if that's gonna be tonight or not. But if it is, God bless. But if it's not, I'm gonna hold it as long as it takes, because I know the rules. I know I'm right. I have the results. I have the students with the results. I've done it for a matter of multi years. Um, I'm almost at 10 years in this, and I feel like there's always a higher level. And if there's people making 20 million a month, it's because they know the rules better than I. So until that's me, well, here I am. But I hope y'all were able to learn something. Consistency is the difference. It really is. So if you're not where you want to be, you just need to be more consistent about your goals and then write your goals down and then erase what your well, write the goals down and then write down the steps it's gonna take for you to get to that goal. Just like I said, if I want to lose weight, then I'm gonna eat right. I'm gonna show up for myself at least 20 minutes a day, so on and so forth. And then you execute that plan because everybody got a plan, but they spend their whole day, whole week planning, and then they never execute. Like a lot of traders, they planning on getting in this market, but they too scary to execute and be in the market and wait. You gotta get in this market and wait, or this market gonna leave your ass. And then you gonna be stuck in this repeated cycle of damn, not again. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't. Because you sitting there waiting for the right opportunity for the very right moment. You don't even know what that looked like. You don't even know what the right opportunity looked like. I know it's not like I'm talking shit, but I'm being dead ass. Dead ass. You don't know what the right opportunity looked like because I don't even know what the right opportunity looked like because it's a little bit of luck with trading because if I'm executing the same way over and over and over again, right? If I'm executing the same way over and over and over again, then that's one thing. But if the market is in consolidation like it has been for the last month and a half, on some pairs it's been in consolidation since October. If the market has been in consolidation this long and I'm executing the same way over and over again, it's at a variance of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? So when will I be safe? When will I feel safe in this market? There's never an aspect of feeling safe. It's just a mindset behind the potential growth, and it's I'm very asset minded. I want a reason to sell the dollar, and if I wouldn't sell the dollar, then like then I just don't sell right there. That's the thing because with trading, we have control. We don't have control over some things, but we have control over a lot, right? And just like showing up for yourself, you have control over when you show up in this market. So if I want to be a buyer for assets and we're not at a low point, I'm not gonna be a buyer. I have control over that. I don't have to click the button. So that's just my perspective on things. I really hope that helps y'all learn a little bit kind of about my mindset because my mindset I'm very black and white. It's working or it's not. You learning or you not. You doing what it take or you not. And I don't know, like I'm a no BS person, not just a no BS trader. I'm a person before I'm a trader. A trader trading is just a fucking job, if that makes sense, because at some point you still gotta be asset minded and be willing to put the money you make in the market for trading and then put that in assets and let those assets work. But if you uncomfortable with consistently having your money in something that could potentially grow because you're afraid of the weight inside of the growth because you think everything can go to zero. My mindset behind that is just think about how long have you been alive? I've been alive for 30 years. How many times have we went to zero? Zero. Zero. Um, so yeah, I mean, it takes some time, but if you want to get there faster, you could learn from other people, good or bad. I used to learn from people the good shit and the bad shit. Sometimes you gotta learn what not to do. And in my beginning stages, I learned a lot of what not to do, and then where I am now, I just learn what to do, what to think, how to think it, how to approach the thinking. Yeah, but I mean that's all I got. Hope this helps. If it do, great. If it don't, either way, I'll be back tomorrow, I guess.